the tablet, the sickle, the altar, and we can say the basket as well. What do these things mean? You can see that in the title of the video, but basically this proves the great significance of the Mount Ebal curse tablet. Guys, there's been a couple other videos before this. It's become a series. We had part 1 where we said that the tables of stone will come out in the last days, and we believe that's been fulfilled through the Mount Ebal curse tablet. And it's in studying this that we realize the great significance of what's going on. We want to convey to you more of the prophecy, okay, that proves that this is really an extraordinary fulfillment of prophecy, okay? And what it does is it requires us to look at the symbolism. Now, the prophecy is purposefully designed so that wicked and sinners cannot interpret it. It's like when you are going to war and you have an encrypted language that goes forth that only those that are on your side of the army, they only have the instructions of how to interpret what you're saying. Prophecy is the same way. The wicked and the apostates, they won't understand and perceive the meaning of this language. Prophecy is a visual language. It's a language of symbolism. We see you have a sickle here. We have a basket. We have an altar, okay? And we showed you the tablet. So the prophecy is written in a language of symbolism. And when we see these things, we'll see that they are connected. They are interconnected with the tablet and a testimony in the end of days, okay, of a important significant event, and we believe that has happened, okay? So bear with me as we go through this. Now, basically, we find out about the aspects here of the sickle and the altar in the book of Revelation. They're basically, throughout the book of Revelation, it's speaking of the altar. The altar appears in Revelation chapter 8. The altar appears in Revelation 14. The angel from the altar has messages. We'll get through that as we go. Then we can also see that there are 2 sickles. There's an angel with a sickle, and he reaps the wheat harvest. And there's another angel that has a sickle, and he reaps the grape harvest. All right, now, before those harvests, before those times, all right, that's Revelation chapter 14. So we really conclude that Revelation 14 is really talking about 3 harvests. There is the barley harvest, okay, that's in verse 1, around the lamb, because the lamb is speaking of Passover. Now, what you would do is from Passover, you count, in Deuteronomy 16, it says, count 7 weeks from the sickle. All right, so you count from the harvest of the barley, you count 7 weeks, you come to Pentecost. That's what we call it, Pentecost, count 50 days. And that's the sickle for the wheat harvest. So you got the barley harvest, Revelation 14, verse 1. The Lamb stood on Mount Zion with them 144,000, which are first fruits. And we conclude that's speaking of the barley harvest, and that assembly takes place after 1,335 days. We've got other videos to explain that. Now, we get another harvest, which it says, reap, for now is the hour to reap the harvest. So what you do is you count 7 weeks from Resurrection Sunday, Passover, you come to Pentecost. So that is the hour to reap the wheat harvest. That's our second harvest you see in Revelation 14:14. Then there's another angel with a sickle, and he reaps the grape harvest, okay? Time permitting, I'll show you some grapes. At the present time where we are, then what you do is from the wheat harvest, you count another 7 weeks for the first fruits of the grape harvest, okay? And it's really the grape harvest, that is the testimony that is going forth to the wicked, to the apostate, those that will not keep the commandments of God, that are facing the wrath of God in his judgments as the apocalypse continues to outpour, okay, on the world. All right. So we have an altar here. All right. You can see that. And we have a sickle here. All right. And we have a basket. Now let's talk about the basket. What the basket is the basket is representing, okay, an ephah, or a dry or liquid measure. Now you can see this one is a basket. So whatever you put in it, it's got kind of holes and it's going to fall out. But the ancient ones were very fine and nothing will fall out. But this basket is connected to these things here. It's connected to the sickle, all right, and it's connected to the curse tablet. Okay, so where does this come up? We see this basket coming up in Zechariah chapter 5. Zechariah chapter 5 says there was a woman, all right, that was in the basket, and she was wickedness. And the basket was taken to Babylon. Okay, so the basket's going to Babylon. So what does this mean? This means the woman inside is Mystery Babylon of Revelation. So the angel, okay, we're at the time of the bowls. We're at the third bowl. Bowl number 3. Okay, right now, bowl number 3. And at bowl number 3, there is an angel that comes from the altar. Okay, here's our altar. The angel comes from the altar. Okay, all right, and he says, "Even so, Lord God Almighty, just and true are your ways, for you have judged." Okay, now that expression is coinciding with Revelation 19, verse 4, where it says, "True and righteous are your judgments." Okay, Lord God Almighty, Yahweh El Shaddai, for you have judged the great whore. Okay, so the angel of the altar has the same message. True and righteous are your judgments, related to the judgment of Mystery Babylon. So the judgment and Mystery Babylon we see in the basket. We see the woman in the basket in Zechariah chapter 5. Okay, so that shows us clearly the woman that's in the basket is Mystery Babylon. The basket is taken, okay, to Babylon. Clearly that's the woman. All right, now there's something else going on there in Zechariah chapter 5 in an earlier verse. And that is, it says, Zechariah says, "I saw a flying Megillah," in the Hebrew, scroll. But the Septuagint, instead of using the word scroll, says sickle. Okay? The Septuagint says, "I saw a flying sickle." Now these, you might say, well, those are two different things. We don't believe that. We believe that this is one message. The sickle is related to the harvest. Okay, well, which one? It's just a sickle. Okay, we could use this. We could cut wheatgrass. All right, we could use this. We could get grapes. It's just a sickle. But which harvest? Well, Zechariah chapter 5 tells us. So the scroll is a testimony. Okay, the scroll is going to represent the 10 Commandments. The scroll is the tablet. Okay, the angel also has a tablet. All right, and the tablet is what was discovered. The cursed tablet came out. Okay, on it was very small. And what did it say? Cursed, cursed, cursed. It says cursed 10 times, representing the 10 Commandments. Now we believe that tablet, even though it's very small, that was actually written by Joshua himself. Yes. And it was placed in the altar, in Joshua's altar, when the children of Israel entered the promised land. He would set up an altar. We'll look at the details. But there's strong evidence to support that Joshua himself did this tablet as a testimony, fulfilling Joshua chapter 8:32. That's a big part of what we're trying to explain with all this imagery of the altar. So the tablet that Joshua put in an altar, not literally in the altar in the fire, but as part of the altar, so that if you excavated the area and you did something called wet sifting, you look at the fine material and see, okay, stones and different things, and then you would find this tablet. We believe the Most High has released this tablet to fulfill significant prophecy that in the end of days, the actual tables of stone would not come out of the Ark of the Covenant, but they would, written by Joshua himself, be a testimony, a scroll. Okay? So that's what That's what we believe that is signifying by the tablet and the scroll. So in Zechariah chapter 5, what do we see? Septuagint says, I saw a flying sickle. All right. And it says a basket. All right. And in previous video, we had also showed you how when they made the discovery, they also found a stylus. So the stylus was discovered, okay, as well, the iron stylus, okay, and that was the tool they used to etch the tablet. Now that pen, as we call it a pen, that's also going to come up in prophecy. As we explained in the previous video, it relates to the tablet in Isaiah 8, and it relates to the pen, okay, in Jeremiah 17. We have the verses, we have notes to all this, guys, and we'll give you the whole notes and breakdown. But what we want to do is the prophecy is written in imagery, written in symbolism, and the Most High has led me to this message, okay, with the actual things. So I actually have a sickle, I actually have a basket, I actually have an altar, I actually have a tablet and a scroll. Okay, all the things that are in the visuals of the prophecy, I'm showing you as a testimony. This is true. The curse of the cursed and the wicked, of the apostates, the commandment of the scroll is going forth. It's testifying against those that don't keep the commandments of God. Okay, and so now let's take a look at the notes, and let's look once again and show you this once again where this altar is in Revelation. All right, and the tables of stone. Okay, also the angels testifying. Now, in part 1, we had looked at how the Mount Ebal curse tablet fulfills what we believe Ron Wyatt said, that the tables of stone would come out at the time of the mark of the beast, which, of course, is the time the curse tablet has come out, testifying against those that take in the mark of the beast, but also testifying against all the wicked and the judgments of God coming. Then we showed you all the symbolism related to the angel of the covenant and his role, and how we believe his appearing is at this time before the Son of Man will appear in the clouds. He would prepare the way before the Son of Man. And then what we want to do in this video is explain the sickle, the tablet, and how the tablet is representing the tables of stone, the 10 commandments, and we're also looking at the altar, as well as the basket, right? So when we look at all these things, they all may appear to be describing different things, but they're essentially discussing the same prophetic symbolism and event, is what we believe. The basket in Zechariah 5, there's a basket of blessing and cursing, which we'll see in Deuteronomy. The sickle and the different harvests, and the altar is Joshua's altar. The actual altar that Joshua built, we believe, is the altar that the angels in heaven are testifying about. So the third angel poured out his bowl, okay, and the angel came out of the altar and said, Lord God Almighty, just and true are your ways, okay? And another angel came out of the altar and had power over the fire and said with a loud voice to him that had the sharp sickle. So again, we see the connection of the altar with the sickle, okay, in testifying. Now here is the actual curse tablet, what it looks like. And they haven't told us all the inscriptions. You can see it's very small in terms of centimeters. And when the news of this first came out, it's basically the oldest Hebrew, and it's also the oldest name of Yahweh that we have on record. So this is an earth-shaking find, as they described. But we believed it was fulfilling Ron Wyatt's prophecy of the tables of stone. Yes, okay, but we also believe that it's fulfilling other aspects of the prophecy. That's what we want to share with you in this video. So it's representing the tables of stone. The others of the woman's seed kept the commandments of God and have the testimony of Jesus. And again, here are they that which keep the commandments of God. So the wicked and the sinners, they cannot perceive the importance of keeping the commandments of God, because they are breaking the commandments of God every day. Okay, so that is the testimony, okay, the tables of stone testifying to the blessing and the cursing. Now, in the inscription, here is the oldest Hebrew we have. It's actually going from left to right, and we have a Yod, Hey, the guy in the middle is a Hey, and Vav at the right, Yahweh. So this is the oldest name of Yahweh that we know of. This predates Paleo-Hebrew, which is big news in terms of archaeology, but we are a prophecy channel. So what does this mean? What does this mean in prophecy? Here is the site of Joshua's altar. Okay, so Joshua's altar is there, and here's an excavation. We knew Joshua's altar for many years, but what they did is they went and got the debris from some of these sites and wet sifted it and found this small tablet. Now, you'll notice what it says there, the foot-shaped enclosure of Mount Ebal. And here we're showing you that there's actually 2 foot-shaped enclosures. And that's what it said in Deuteronomy 11 when it talks about the instructions to build this altar on Mount Ebal and Mount Gerizim, okay? So this is fulfilling exactly Deuteronomy 11. Joshua's following these instructions, okay? And we can also see the relationship of this leading in the end of days to the tablet, the angel of the covenant with the tablet, and the sickle. All right, so when he has the sickle, there's different harvests, as we described. All right, so we can see this in the order of the angels in Ezekiel chapter 9. Okay, and we can see some of this as well, the tablet, the stylus, and Jeremiah. Now, guys, what we believe is that the book of Joshua is also prophecy, and so that clearly we have 7 trumpets when the children of Israel march around Jericho as a type of Babylon is fallen, and that is Joshua chapter 6. Okay, now we get to Joshua chapter 8. This is obviously after the trumpets have blown. Okay, very important, very significant for us to realize. Okay, so if we look here at Joshua chapter 8, okay, you can see what it says. Joshua built an altar, okay, unto Yahweh in Mount Ebal. Okay, so he built an altar in Mount Ebal. And then it says, as Moses, the servant of Yahweh, commanded the children of Israel, is written in the book of the law of Moses. Okay, so it's written in the Torah. Well, we're going to see that's Deuteronomy chapter 11. An altar of whole stones of which no man did lift up any iron. Now, we're going to see that we believe the iron relates to the iron pen, or the iron stylus, okay, that also came out. And they offered sacrifices, peace offerings, and he wrote there upon the stones a copy of the law of Moses. So what we're suggesting, guys, is that when Joshua wrote a copy of the law, all right, he left a copy of the law of Moses at the altar. Now, this is to be a testimony. So if you were to write a scroll on papyrus, it would not last, would it? But that's why we believe the tablet, the cursed tablet, Joshua himself wrote, okay? Because it says it right there. All right, he wrote there, okay, on one of the stones, okay, in the stones of the altar. And he wrote, okay, in the presence of the children of Israel. Now, a copy of the law in the Septuagint is Deuteronomy, okay? So the word Deuteronomy means second one, okay? It's a repeat, all right? So what we're suggesting, guys, is that he actually wrote this, and it's the law of Moses. It's the Torah. It's a tablet, okay? So he may have written down the whole thing in the sight of the children of Israel because he reads the whole thing, but he left the tablet, the cursed tablet, as a testimony, okay? And it's actually part of the tablets, the tablets of stone, not the little ones in the ark. He made one and left it in the altar, okay? And he did this in the sight of all the elders and officers and judges on this side of the ark, okay? And half of them went to Mount Gerizim. Mount Gerizim is the mountain of blessing. And half of them on Mount Ebal, okay, the mountain of cursing, as Moses, the servant of the Lord, had commanded before that they should bless the people. This is Deuteronomy 11. We'll go there and see it. And afterward he read all the words of the law, blessings and cursings, according to all that is written in the Torah. Not And there was not a word that Moses commanded in which Joshua did not read before the congregation. Okay, so he read the whole thing. But what we're trying to say is that he left a tablet, okay, like the tables of stone, like the Ten Commandments. He left it in the altar. So literally, he wrote it, and the tablet is written in iron, okay? And we could almost view that when it says iron there, it's actually talking about what he testified on this iron cursed tablet, and it says cursed 10 times, okay, related to the 10 Commandments. Now, here's our notes for this message, okay, and we're going to continue to build off these themes of the tablet, and we're going to talk about the sickle and the altar. So he placed the tablet, the cursed tablet, in the altar. That's where they found it, all right, in Mount Ebal. So we know that's exactly Joshua's altar. We know that the cursed tablet was found there. Very, very significant. And as we stated, Joshua 1:32, he wrote the cursed tablet. That's what we believe. He wrote it. And he wrote on there the stones. Now, if we look in the Hebrew, it says it has an olive tav. So this, we believe, is a testimony of the Lord Jesus Christ, Alpha and Omega, olive tav. So he wrote there on the stones, okay, olive tav, copy, okay, Mishnah of the Torah of Moses. And in the Septuagint, in the Greek, this is Deuteronomy. Okay, so just like Moses wrote the book of Deuteronomy, he wrote a second copy of the law, which is the book that we know as the book of Deuteronomy. Joshua did the same thing, even uses the word Deuteronomy. And we saw the word of iron. Okay, and this we believe is relating to the tool and the stylus that was also found, okay, at the site with the cursed tablet. So the cursed tablet was written with an iron pen. And he placed the cursed tablet in the altar on Mount Ebal. Okay, so it was there as a testimony, the cursed tablet, and it was a testimony of the 10 Commandments, said cursed 10 times. Now, these 10 Commandments, this is going to come up in prophecy. This is going to come up in the book of Revelation. So what we're suggesting is that the altar, all right, in Revelation, all right, would testify to a physical altar in the earth, and that's Joshua's altar. Okay, and the tablet is going to testify to something physical on the earth. That is the cursed tablet. All right, but in Revelation, it says that it talks about those that keep the commandments. Okay, those that keep the commandments, in being the 10 Commandments and the testimony of Jesus. We see that stated 3 times. Revelation 12, 14, and 22, as we had shown you earlier. So, as we had said, there was an angel of the altar, okay, at the third bowl. And he says, okay, Yahweh El Shaddai, true and righteous are your judgments. This relates to the judgments of Mystery Babylon and Revelation chapter 19, verse 2, where it says, true and righteous are your judgments, Yahweh El Shaddai, because you have judged the great whore. So this angel's declaration is corresponding true and righteous with the judgment of Mystery Babylon. The angel of the altar, all right, comes up again with the grape sickle. So the angel came out from the altar, which had power over the fire, and cried with a loud voice to him that had the sharp sickle. All right. So again, we're showing you the sickle. All right. He had the sharp sickle. And this angel comes from the altar and speaks to him and says, okay, gather the grapes. Now this is the wrath of God. All right, this is the wrath of God harvest. The wheat harvest is the great harvest. Okay, thus it being the harvest of the wicked and the cursed. So that's what the cursed tablet is testifying against with the sickle, that soon the wicked, all right, will be judged. Now, once we take these ideas and symbolisms of the altar, of the scroll, of the tablet, okay, and the sickle, we find them in very, very important places. Particularly, we're going to look here at Zechariah 5, as we explained, a flying scroll. In Hebrew, this is Megillah. In the Septuagint, it's a sickle. Duripanon, okay, and it gives it size, and then it says, this is the curse going forth upon the face of the whole earth. And guys, the cursed tablet, all right, we're also calling it a scroll, a tablet. The cursed tablet has gone upon the face of the whole earth. This has been huge news all over mainstream media even. All right. And it's testifying against the thief and the liar, those that break the commandments. That's Zechariah 5. Then verse 6. And then Zechariah sees an ephah. This is a basket. And there's a woman inside. As we said, that's Mystery Babylon. All right, Mystery Babylon. And the angel said at the third bowl, true and righteous are your judgments, because you've judged the great whore. All right, so she is inside the basket. And the basket is taken to Babylon. So this is Mystery Babylon. And it says, this is wickedness. Thus, the cursed basket, okay, by the altar. Now, that is what it's describing in Deuteronomy 26, verse 2. It said, you would take your harvest in a basket and you would bring it by the altar. All right, and then it goes into Deuteronomy chapter 28, goes into the blessings. In Deuteronomy 28, verse 5, it says, blessed will be your basket. And then Deuteronomy 28, verse 17 says, cursed will be your basket. So you see, there's always two, guys. There's a mountain of blessing. There's a mountain of cursing. All right? So the cursed basket is related to those that, come out of her, my people, come out of Mystery Babylon. All right? Receive not of her plagues. So this is the cursed basket. That's why this is wickedness. That's why it says it in Zechariah 5, because this is talking about the Torah. The Torah talked about a cursed basket and blessed basket. This is the cursed basket. Now, these same themes that we see of the scroll, all right, the sickle, and the altar also appear in Ezekiel chapter 9. And again, this is not easy to find. You have to do exhaustive word studies. This is why I do this full time. Even this whole study of the last 3 videos has taken me a week. All right, Ezekiel 9:2. And the angel, there's angels with a slaughtering weapon. And it's a Septuagint kind of use it as a hewing axe, but we're calling it a sickle. And what they do is they go forth and they destroy the people that don't have the seal of God. Then there's another angel that's clothed in linen with the tablet. All right, in some versions of the Septuagint, it says a writing tablet, okay, for writing. And all of them, they stood beside the altar. Okay, so we have the same thing. We get the sickle, we get the tablet, we have the altar, testifying to something. And then the angel that was clothed in linen, all right, he goes forth and he marks those that are crying out for the abomination. So actually, within all this, you always have the seal of God. Okay, those that have the seal of God. That is the blessing. Okay, that is the blessed basket that we saw. That's the mountain of blessing. All right. Now, all of these themes, okay, of the pen, all right, the tablet, the altar, this is also in Jeremiah 17. The sin of Judah is written with a pen, a stylus of iron. Yes, it literally says an iron stylus, which was exactly what was discovered in Mount Ebal, along with the cursed tablet. So we believe that this is Jeremiah 17 being fulfilled, that there would actually be a pen that is writing the curse. Okay? So pen of iron, and it was of iron. This iron stylus was found with the cursed tablet at Mount Ebal. And then it says, with a nail point of a diamond. And again, the diamond is adamant, and this relates to Ezekiel when he is sealed. So again, we can't really separate the seal of God from these prophecies. It's intertwined throughout. But their sin is written with a pen, and it is graven on a tablet. It's graven on the 10 commandments of their heart and upon the horns of the altars. Okay? Pen, tablet, altars. Again, this is all testifying, guys, that this prophecy in our time is being fulfilled. The pen, the cursed tablet, the Joshua altar is all in all these prophecies. That's what we're trying to convey to you. This is huge. in the previous video, we'd also told you about Isaiah chapter 8. All right. It also talks about these very things. Take a great tablet, Gileon, all right, and write it with a man's pen, stylus. So once again, we get the tablet, we get the pen, just like we saw in Jeremiah 17, in Isaiah 8, okay, and write it with, and then it says, bind up the testimony, seal the Torah, okay, the Torah, the law of Moses, among the disciples. So let's take a look at some of the signs that took place around Joshua's altar that is fulfilling Deuteronomy chapter 11. This was the instructions of what Joshua was supposed to do when he entered the promised land, okay? You can read the whole thing. We're just going to point out some things. It says in verse 18, bind the commandments for a sign on the hand and forehead. Again, we say the seal of God is intertwined throughout all these prophecies as the blessing, all right? Those that keep the commandments. And then it says, everywhere the soles of your feet tread will be yours. So that's what we're saying. When Joshua built this place, he made it foot-shaped, okay, enclosures, which is per the instructions of Deuteronomy 11. So this is an authentic site, no question, okay? But what we're saying is in prophecy, this is testifying against the wicked. Verse 28, those that go after other gods. Now, in Joshua's time, there was Achan. He took the accursed thing, and they couldn't defeat the city Ai. All right? Well, that's relating to worshiping the beast, taking idols, okay, and those that take the mark of the beast. So that same thing happened with Joshua as he was building this altar, is entering this place, okay? Then verse 29, it says, put blessing on Mount Gerizim, okay? That's the blessing, Mount Gerizim, and the curse upon Mount Ebal, on the other side of the Jordan. So Moses prophesied about this Joshua altar, that it would happen, all right? And what we're suggesting is that this all will happen again in prophecy, that all of this would happen. The cursed tablet would come out. We would have the fulfillment of Joshua's altar relating to the altar of Revelation, that the actual tablet that Joshua wrote would come and testify to the whole world of the Ten Commandments. Okay, of course, most of them won't keep the Ten Commandments, therefore the curse will come upon them, as is clearly stated in the prophecy, and thus the angels coming from the altar are coming to testify of Joshua's altar. And guys, I'll make the notes available to you. There'll be a blog post on the website called Angel in the Covenant. I'll try and get it also in the description field of the video. I really encourage you to look at the notes, especially on the last few videos. There's a lot more information that I'm not covering in the video. But what have we learned? Well, we've learned about the sickle, the basket, the tablet, the altar. What does this mean? We believe that this is the testimony of the cursed tablet coming out that would come forth in the whole earth, and that these are significant prophecies that must be fulfilled. They would have to happen before the Lord Jesus Christ appears as the Son of Man in the clouds. He's coming soon. That's what this means. Things are being fulfilled way into the latter portions of the book of Revelation. Okay, that just shows you how amazing the time is at hand. The wedding supper is at hand. His appearing is at hand. Armageddon is at hand. The bowls are at hand, the trumpets are at hand, the seals are everything is happening simultaneously. I know sometimes my teaching channel, people want me to update the judgments on the earth and what are the bowls, how do they manifest. Those should be obvious to you. You shouldn't really need me to explain every little thing. Hopefully, if you study, you can figure it out. What we deal with is the more difficult prophecies, the more hard to understand, where we have to take the symbolism, we have to take the word studies, look at the Hebrew, look at the Greek in the Old Testament, looking at the Septuagint. This is how we can see the tablet, okay? The tablet being in Ezekiel chapter 9, okay? The writing tablet, all right, being as well, all right, in Isaiah, okay, and Jeremiah, okay? Those verses are talking about a writing tablet and a stylus, okay? So there was a stylus discovered as well in the site. So many praises to the Most High God to allow us to see this. And big thanks to the team of Scott Stripling, who made the discovery at Joshua's altar and released the cursed tablet. He hasn't released all the information, guys. The only word he has physically shown us is Yahweh. It's so old, it's only including 3 letters, Yod, Hey, Vav. All right. And we believe that's so old that it's really dating back to Joshua himself being the one with the stylus who wrote the cursed tablet as a testimony in our day. Okay? So guys, all I can do and say, watch and pray. The Son of Man is going to appear in the clouds very soon. Well, be excited because the voice from the throne said, praise our God. So I give many great thanks and praise to him for revealing these great mysteries of the basket and the altar, the sickle, okay, that in our day, okay, we would see the significant prophecies come to pass, and we would see the Son of Man appear in the clouds. He's coming very soon. So fear God, give glory to him, for the hour of his judgment has come, okay, the hour of his judgment has come. And the voice came from the throne saying, praise our God, all you his servants that fear his name, both small and great.